You know that feeling when you walk into a room and instantly realize you've been set up? That's exactly what happened to me the day my sister invited me to just a casual lunch. The restaurant had crystal chandeliers, white tablecloths so crisp they could cut glass, a wine list thicker than my medical textbooks. This wasn't casual. This was a stage, and I was about to become the main act in a performance I never auditioned for. My name is Elena Martinez. I'm 42 years old, a veterinarian, and apparently the villain in my younger sister's fairy tale. But let me tell you, fairy tales don't prepare you for what happens when the princess turns into a dragon. I watched Amber trace invisible patterns on the linen tablecloth with her perfectly manicured nails. Baby pink. Expensive salon pink. The kind that screams, I don't do my own dishes. My nails were short, clean, practical. A veterinarian's hands. Hands that had held dying animals, comforted grieving pet owners, and most recently, held my mother's hand as she took her last breath. That was exactly 1 month ago. 30 days since we buried Mom. 30 days since Amber showed up at the hospital 23 minutes too late, makeup flawless, claiming there was traffic. 30 days since I became the sole inheritor of Mom's 4-bedroom house in the suburbs. And apparently, 30 days was all the mourning period Amber needed before planning her ambush. Sitting next to her was Damien, her fiancé. He adjusted his Rolex for the 3rd time in 5 minutes. The metal caught the chandelier light like he was sending Morse code signals. Maybe he was. Maybe the message was, we're about to screw you over, Elena. Damien wore a designer suit that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage. What I knew, and what Amber didn't know I knew, was that the suit was rented. The Rolex was borrowed. And Damien's so-called investment firm was 3 months away from total collapse. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Elena. Amber's voice was soft, careful, dripping with that tone she used to use when she needed something. Lunch money. Gas money. That time she needed $50,000 to avoid bankruptcy and promised, sworn on Mom's life, that it was the last time. It's never the last time. You know, Damien and I have been planning our wedding, she continued, her eyes getting that shine. That specific shine I recognized from childhood. From every time she stood at Mom's bedroom door asking for just one more thing. I nodded, said nothing. Under the table, my phone rested in my lap. Screen dark but ready. My husband Marcus had sent me a text before I left the house. Just 2 words. Remember everything. Marcus is an accountant. He thinks in numbers, patterns, and evidence. He'd been suspicious of this lunch from the moment Amber called. She wants something, he'd said. And whatever it is, it's going to cost you more than money. He was right. We found the most amazing venue. Damien leaned forward, elbows on the table like we were old friends discussing a business deal. In wine country. Vineyard views, sunset ceremony, really exclusive. The kind of place you see in magazines. It sounds beautiful, I said carefully. Amber's hand reached across the table, her fingers finding mine. Her palm was soft, moisturized, like she'd never done a day of hard work in her life. Mine felt rough against hers. Calloused from years of wrangling frightened animals and scrubbing exam tables. The thing is, Damien's voice shifted, went harder. The venue requires a substantial deposit. And with current market conditions, liquidating certain assets would put us at a disadvantage financially. I almost laughed. He talked like someone who binge-watched business shows and thought that made him Gordon Gekko. The reality? His investment firm was drowning in debt. I knew about the gambling losses. The cryptocurrency disasters. The offshore casino that was still waiting for their $53,000. But I let him talk. What Damien means, Amber squeezed my hand tighter, is that we need help. Family helping family. You understand, right? There it was. The setup. The pitch. The con. We need $75,000, Damien said flatly. Like he was ordering an appetizer. Like that number was nothing. The words hung in the air between us. Heavy. Suffocating. $75,000. I thought about Mom's house. The 4-bedroom bungalow where Amber and I grew up. Where Mom taught us to braid hair in the bathroom mirror. Where we built pillow forts and had Christmas mornings and learned what family was supposed to mean. The house that was legally mine now. That Mom had left to me, and only me, in a will that was ironclad, legally sound, and very, very intentional. From selling Mom's house, I said quietly. Well, yes. Amber's grip tightened. You got the whole house, Elena. It's only fair that you share some of that value with family. Fair. Let me tell you about fair. Fair was being 16 with a prom dress hanging in my closet and a corsage wilting in the fridge. Amber had been 4 years old, burning with fever, and Mom was at her second job. I stayed home. Gave my date some excuse about the flu. Spent the night pressing cool washcloths to my baby sister's forehead while she whimpered and cried. Fair was being 23 and canceling a trip to Seattle with my college friends because Amber needed someone to co-sign her first apartment lease. She promised she'd never miss a payment. She was evicted 6 months later, and I spent 2 years paying off the debt. Fair was being 28 and draining my savings account to cover Amber's credit card debt after she invested in a pyramid scheme selling essential oils. Fair was being 35 and lying to Marcus about where $5,000 went because Amber needed it for a business opportunity that turned out to be another scam. Fair was being 41 and writing a check for $50,000 while Amber sobbed about bankruptcy and bad decisions and swore, that this was the last time she'd ever ask me for anything. That was 2 years ago. It's only fair, Damien repeated, and something in his tone made my blood run cold. You got the whole house, Elena. The least you can do is help your sister have the wedding of her dreams. The wedding of her dreams. I remembered something then. Something from 6 months ago that I'd tried to forget but couldn't. Mom was upstairs dying. Hospice care. Morphine pump. A baby monitor on her nightstand so I could hear if she needed anything. I was in the kitchen making soup she'd never eat when I heard voices coming through that monitor. Amber and Damien. In Mom's living room. Walking around like they owned the place. We could knock down this wall, Damien had said. Open up the space. Make it more modern. And replace that ugly fireplace, Amber added. Something marble. Something expensive. They were planning renovations. To my dying mother's house. While she was sedated 1 floor above them, fighting for every breath. I'd recorded it. Saved it on my phone. Never told anyone about it. Until now. Until now. Mom would have wanted this for me, Amber said, and her eyes filled with tears. Perfect, photogenic tears that didn't smudge her mascara. She would have wanted to see me happy. She would have wanted me to have a beautiful wedding. My phone buzzed against my thigh. Marcus. 1 word, strong. I looked at my sister. Really looked at her. Saw the calculation behind the tears. The manipulation behind the sweetness. And I knew with absolute certainty that this was just the beginning. I can offer $15,000, I said. My voice was steady, calm, like I was discussing the weather. As a wedding gift. The silence that followed was deafening. Damien actually laughed. Sharp and short like a bark. That doesn't even cover the flowers. Amber's face changed. Just for a second. The tears vanished like someone flipped a switch. Something cold and vicious flashed in her eyes before she caught herself, before the mask slid back into place. But I saw it. That glimpse of who she really was underneath all the sweetness. Elena, please. Her voice trembled. We're family. After everything we've been through together. After losing Mom. You can't seriously expect me to plan a wedding on $15,000. Actually, I said, I expect you to plan a wedding on whatever you and Damien can afford. Together. Like normal couples do. Normal couples, Damien's jaw tightened, don't have sisters who inherit entire houses and refuse to share. I stood up, smoothed my jacket, looked down at both of them. $15,000. That's my final offer. Take it or leave it. The restaurant continued around us. A waiter glided past with a tray of wine glasses. Someone at the next table laughed. The world kept turning like my family wasn't imploding over a white tablecloth. Amber's fingers curled against the linen. Those perfect nails pressing into the fabric like claws. You're being selfish, she whispered. After everything I've been through. After losing Mom too. How can you be so heartless? I wanted to scream. Wanted to ask her where she was during Mom's 6-month hospice care. Wanted to list every 2 a.m. breathing crisis, every medication change, every moment of terror when I thought Mom wouldn't make it through the night. Amber visited twice. Twice in 6 months. Stayed maybe 20 minutes each time. Took selfies with Mom's frail body in the hospital bed and posted them on Instagram with captions about cherishing every moment and family is everything. The comments poured in. You're such a devoted daughter. Your mom is so lucky to have you. This is what true love looks like. Nobody saw me in the background of those photos. Exhausted. Unshowered. Running on 3 hours of sleep and hospital cafeteria coffee. But I didn't say any of that. Instead, I pulled out my wallet. Left three $20 bills on the table for my untouched water. Take it or leave it, I repeated. Then I walked out into the afternoon sun, my phone already in my hand, already pulling up that recording from 6 months ago. The one where Amber and Damien planned renovations to a dying woman's house. Marcus was right. It was time to remember everything. The text messages started that night. Amber, you embarrassed me in front of Damien. How could you do that to your own sister? Amber, Mom would be so disappointed in you right now. Amber, I guess money is more important to you than family. I showed them to Marcus. He sat at our kitchen table, reading through them with his accountant face on. The face that meant he was calculating something, running numbers that didn't add up. She's going to escalate, he said quietly. This is just the beginning. I know. Elena. He looked up at me. We need to prepare. Document everything. Every call, every text, every interaction. She's building a narrative, and we need to build a defense. I nodded. Felt something cold settle in my chest. My baby sister. The one I'd raised more than Mom did. The one I'd sacrificed for again and again and again. She was going to war. And I was going to have to fight back. The next morning, my phone rang before sunrise. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. The message made my blood run cold. Elena, this is Aunt Patricia. Mom's older sister. The one who sent a gorgeous flower arrangement to the funeral and told me how proud Mom was of me. I just got off the phone with Amber. She's devastated. Absolutely devastated. I need you to call me back immediately and explain yourself. I deleted the voicemail. But the calls kept coming. Cousin Jennifer. Uncle Robert. Second cousin twice removed whose name I couldn't even remember. All of them with the same script. Amber says you're being greedy. Amber says you manipulated Mom. Amber says you're keeping everything for yourself. By noon, 3 relatives had unfriended me on Facebook. By evening, I'd been removed from the family group chat. The one that usually shared recipes and baby photos and arguments about whether to deep fry or bake the Thanksgiving turkey. I scrolled back through the messages. They were still talking, still sharing photos and jokes and making plans. They just weren't including me anymore. Marcus found me sitting on the couch, phone in hand, staring at nothing. How bad? He asked. Check my clinic's Facebook page. He pulled out his laptop. His face went dark. Someone had left a 1-star review. Anonymous. Dr. Martinez seems caring with animals but apparently steals from her own family. Makes you wonder what else she's capable of. That's defamation, Marcus said. We can fight this. But we both knew the truth. You can't fight rumors. Can't argue with whispers. Can't defend yourself against lies that spread faster than truth ever could. My phone buzzed. A text from Amber. Amber, I hope you're happy. You've torn this family apart. Mom would be ashamed. I stared at those words. Mom would be ashamed. Then I remembered something Mom said to me 3 weeks before she died. We were alone in her hospital room. She was lucid, clear-eyed, determined. Elena, she'd whispered, her voice weak but firm. Stop giving everything to Amber. You've sacrificed enough. When I'm gone, protect yourself. Promise me. I'd promised. And now it was time to keep that promise. Marcus found it on a Wednesday night. I was sitting at the kitchen table with cold tea and Mom's photo album open in front of me. Pictures of Amber as a baby. Gap-toothed at 7. Radiant in her high school graduation gown, wearing the dress I'd bought with my grocery store paycheck because Mom couldn't afford it. My throat ached. I kept looking for the moment it changed. When my baby sister became someone I didn't recognize anymore. Elena. Marcus's voice cut through my thoughts. He was standing in the doorway with his laptop, his accountant face on. The one that meant he'd found something in the numbers that didn't add up. You need to see this. He set the laptop on the table. Pushed it toward me. The screen showed a background check report. Damien Lawson's financial history, laid out in merciless detail. Gambling debts. $53,000 to an offshore casino. Another $18,000 to someone called Big Tommy. Which sounded exactly like the kind of nickname nobody wants to owe money to. Keep scrolling, Marcus said quietly. Cryptocurrency investments. Failed ones. $85,000 vanished into digital coins with names like Moon Rocket and Diamond Paws. The kind of investments that promise yacht parties and deliver bankruptcy. His family cut him off 6 months ago, Marcus continued. There's a court filing. His father threatened to have him declared financially incompetent. My hands were shaking. I thought about Damien's Rolex. His designer suit. That casual way he asked for $75,000 like it was nothing. All of it borrowed. All of it fake. All of it a lie. There's more. Marcus reached over, clicked to a different tab. Text messages. A whole thread between Amber and Damien, dated 2 weeks before the restaurant ambush. Damien, your sister won't just hand over the money. We need leverage. Amber, I know Elena. Guilt works. She's been taking care of me since she was 16. Damien, then use it. Family obligation. Dead mother's wishes. Whatever works. Amber, I'll cry. That always gets her. Damien, perfect. And if she still refuses, we move to plan B. Amber, the lawsuit? Damien, the lawsuit. Contest the will. Claim undue influence. Make it expensive in public. She'll cave. I read it twice. 3 times. The words didn't change. My baby sister. The one I'd bathed and fed and rocked to sleep. The one I'd taught to ride a bike and helped with homework and talked off ledges when life got hard. She was plotting against me with the precision of a military campaign. How did you get these? I managed to ask. Marcus's expression was carefully neutral. Let's just say Damien's cloud security was remarkably poor. And I have a friend who specializes in digital forensics. That's legal enough, he said. And more importantly, it's true. Every word of it. My phone rang. Aunt Patricia again. I stared at it. Let it ring. The voicemail notification appeared 30 seconds later. Marcus played it on speaker. Elena, I don't know what's gotten into you, but Amber showed me text messages. Messages where you threatened to ruin her wedding. Where you said terrible things about Damien. That's not the niece I know. That's not the woman your mother raised. Call me back and explain yourself before this gets any worse. The voicemail ended. She's fabricating evidence, Marcus said flatly. Creating fake text messages to turn the family against you. We need to document everything, I said. My voice sounded strange. Distant. Every lie. Every manipulation. Every fake message. Marcus was already opening a new document on his laptop. We start with a timeline. Every interaction you've had with Amber since Mom died. Every text, every call, every demand. We build a case so airtight that when, not if, this goes to court, we have undeniable proof. I thought about Mom's last words to me. Protect yourself. Promise me. Okay, I said. Let's build the case. We worked through the night. Marcus organized everything into spreadsheets and folders. I provided dates, details, context. We pulled bank records showing every dollar I'd given Amber over the years. $58,000 in total. Not including the $50,000 bailout 2 years ago. We had the recording from Mom's house. Amber and Damien planning renovations while Mom was dying upstairs. We had hospice records. Rosa, Mom's nurse, kept meticulous logs. Elena Martinez present every day for 6 months. Amber Collins visited twice. Duration, approximately 20 minutes each visit. We had statements from Mom's doctor. From her best friend Margaret. From neighbors who saw me coming and going at all hours. Who never saw Amber unless there was a camera crew for another Instagram photo op. By dawn, we had a document that was 18 pages long. Comprehensive. Detailed. Damning. This is good, Marcus said. But we need more. More. We need to know their endgame. What they're planning next. Because they're planning something, Elena. People this desperate don't just give up. He was right. The call came that afternoon. Not from Amber. From a lawyer named Richard Chin. Dr. Martinez. His voice was smooth, professional, carefully neutral. I represent your sister, Amber Collins. She's asked me to reach out regarding your mother's estate. The estate is settled, I said. My mother's will was clear. My client believes there may have been undue influence. That you manipulated a sick, elderly woman into leaving you the entire property. There it was. Plan B. The lawsuit Amber and Damien had joked about in their text messages. My mother was evaluated by 2 different doctors, I said carefully. Both confirmed she was of sound mind when she made her will. This is a baseless claim, and we both know it. Perhaps. Chen's voice didn't change. But lawsuits can be expensive, Dr. Martinez. Lengthy. Public. Your clinic's reputation could suffer. Your personal life could be exposed. It might be easier, and cheaper, to simply reach a settlement with your sister. I'll have my lawyer contact you, I said and hung up. My hands were shaking. Not from fear. From rage. They were threatening my clinic. My career. Everything I'd built that had nothing to do with Mom's house or family drama or Amber's endless needs. Marcus found me pacing the kitchen 20 minutes later. They hired a lawyer, I told him. They're going to sue. Claim undue influence. Good, Marcus said. I stared at him. Good. They're desperate enough to sue, which means they're not thinking clearly. Desperate people make mistakes. And we're going to document every single one. He pulled up his laptop again. Started typing. What are you doing? Making a list, he said, of every expert witness we're going to need. Mom's doctors, her hospice nurse, her best friend, the neighbors, everyone who saw you caring for her while Amber was nowhere to be found. We're going to bury them in evidence. I sat down across from him, watched him work. This is going to get ugly, I said. It already is ugly, Marcus replied. But we're going to win, because we have something they don't. What's that? He looked up at me. His eyes were fierce. The truth. The Instagram post went viral overnight. I woke up to 47 missed calls and 200 text messages. My phone was literally overheating from the notifications. Marcus handed me coffee and his laptop. Don't panic, he said. Just look. Amber's Instagram account. A post from 3 hours ago. A collage of photos. Me and Amber as children at Christmas, at birthday parties. All the moments that should have been precious memories. The caption made my coffee taste like ash. Missing the sister I used to know. The one who cared about family more than money. Mom left us both behind, but only one of us got everything. I got memories. She got the house, the inheritance, the future. I guess some people show their true colors when there's money involved. Mom would be heartbroken. Hashtag family betrayal, hashtag grief and greed, hashtag justice for Amber. The comments section was a war zone. Your sister is disgusting. Stay strong, Amber. Money changes people. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Elder abuse is real. Someone should investigate Elena Martinez. My heart breaks for you. No one deserves this kind of betrayal. 12,000 likes. 8,000 comments. Shared 400 times. My clinic's Facebook page had 37 new one-star reviews. All posted in the last 3 hours. All saying variations of the same thing. Dr. Martinez is a greedy, heartless person who steals from family. Don't trust her with your pets. She's destroying me, I whispered. She's destroying everything I've built. Marcus took the laptop back. Started typing furiously. No, he said. She's documenting her own malice. Every fake review is evidence of harassment. Every lie is proof of defamation. She thinks she's winning, but she's actually building our case for us. My phone rang. Sarah, my partner at the clinic. Elena, what the hell is going on? She sounded frantic. We've got angry calls coming in. People threatening to pull their pets from our practice. Someone's spreading rumors that you're under investigation for animal abuse. It's not true, I said. My voice was shaking. None of it's true. It's my sister. She's trying to force me to give her money by destroying my reputation. Sarah was quiet for a moment. Then, what do you need? I don't know. We're putting out a statement, she said firmly. Supporting you. Every partner is signing it. You've been with us for 12 years, Elena. We know who you are. We're not letting some Instagram campaign take you down. After she hung up, I sat very still. People are believing her, I said to Marcus. They're believing every word. Some people are, he agreed. But not everyone. Look, he showed me his screen. Comments from people defending me. Former clients. Colleagues. Friends. I've known Dr. Martinez for 8 years. She saved my dog's life and never charged me when I couldn't afford the bill. This smells like a smear campaign. I went to college with Elena. She spent every spring break volunteering at animal shelters instead of going on vacation. This doesn't add up. Maybe there's more to this story than what Amber is sharing. Just saying. They're not all against you, Marcus said. And the ones who know you? They're asking questions. They're seeing through the performance. My phone buzzed. A text from cousin Michael. One of the good ones. The one who called when everyone else was ghosting me. Michael saw Amber's post. Before I pick a side, I need to hear from you. What's really happening? I stared at that message. At the words, before I pick a side. At least he was asking. I typed back. Can we meet? I have proof of what's really going on. But it needs to be in person. Michael, tomorrow. Coffee shop on Main Street. 10 a.m. One person. One family member willing to listen. It wasn't much. But it was something. That night, Amber posted again. This time it was a video. Her sitting on a couch, tissue in hand, eyes red from crying. Or from eye drops. Hard to tell. I just want my sister back, she said to the camera, her voice breaking. I don't care about the money anymore. I just want Elena to be the person Mom raised her to be. The person who used to put family first. I don't understand how losing Mom turned her into someone so cold. The video had 15,000 views in the first hour. Marcus and I watched it together in our darkening living room. She's good, I said bitterly. I'll give her that. She knows exactly what to say. She's also creating a digital paper trail, Marcus countered. Every post, every video, every fake tear. It's all evidence of a coordinated harassment campaign. When we take this to court, and we will, her own social media is going to bury her. When do we fight back? I asked. When do we tell our side? Marcus turned to look at me. Not yet. Let her keep digging. Let her keep lying. Let her build her house of cards as high as she wants. Because when it falls, and it will fall, we want the collapse to be spectacular. I met Michael at the coffee shop the next morning. He was already there, waiting in a corner booth with 2 cups of coffee. You look terrible, he said as I slid into the seat across from him. Thanks. That's exactly what I needed to hear. I'm not here to coddle you, Elena. I'm here to find out the truth. Amber's posts are everywhere. Half the family thinks you're a monster. The other half is confused. Which half are you? The confused half. Which is why I'm here. He pushed a coffee toward me. Talk. And don't leave anything out. So I did. I told him everything. The restaurant ambush. The $75,000 demand. The text messages between Amber and Damien planning their manipulation. The recording of them planning renovations to Mom's house while she was dying upstairs. I showed him the hospice records. Rose's meticulous logs showing I was there every single day, while Amber visited twice in 6 months, that I showed him the financial records. Every dollar I'd given Amber over the years. $58,000 in loans she never repaid. Michael read through it all. His expression changed from skeptical to shocked to angry. She's been lying, he said finally. About everything. Yes. And the family just believed her. People usually believe the person who cries the prettiest, I said. Michael set down the papers. Rubbed his face with both hands. What do you need from me? Tell the truth. When people ask you, and they will ask you, tell them what you saw here today. Tell them there's another side to this story. I can do better than that. He pulled out his phone. I'm sharing this in the family group chat. The one they kicked you out of. People need to see this. Michael, you don't have to. Yeah, I do. He looked at me seriously. Aunt Margaret would be ashamed of how this family is treating you. She told me once that you were the most selfless person she knew. That Amber would never survive without you. Looks like she was right. After Michael left, I sat in that coffee shop for another hour. Watching people come and go. Normal people with normal problems. Not fighting wars with their own families. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You're going to regret this. You and that husband of yours. We have friends and places you don't want to know about. Back off, or things get ugly. I showed it to Marcus when I got home. That's a threat, he said immediately. That's evidence. Screenshot it. Save it. Forward it to our lawyer. Who would send this? Damien, probably. Or one of his gambling buddies. Big Tommy, maybe. He started typing on his laptop. I'm documenting this. Timestamp, phone number, everything. If they want to play dirty, we'll show a judge exactly how dirty they're willing to get. That evening, 3 more family members reached out. Michael had shared the evidence in the family chat, and people were starting to question Amber's narrative. Not everyone, but enough. Aunt Patricia called. Her voice was different this time. Quieter. Less certain. Elena, I may have been hasty. Michael showed me some things. I think we need to talk. It wasn't an apology, but it was a crack in Amber's armor. And cracks, Marcus said, were where the light got in. The invitation came 3 days later. A text from Amber. Different tone this time. Softer. Almost desperate. Amber, Elena, I'm so sorry. I've been so stressed about everything. The wedding, the money, losing Mom. I said things I didn't mean. Can we meet? Just the 4 of us. Marcus and Damien too. Let's talk like family. Please. I showed Marcus. He read it twice. It's a trap, he said immediately. You don't know that. Elena. Yes, I do. Everything about this screams setup. But something in Amber's message made me hesitate. Maybe it was hope. Or stupidity. Or 26 years of being trained to forgive her no matter what she did. Amber, there's a steakhouse Damien knows. Really nice. Our treat. Tomorrow night at 7? Mom would want us to at least try to make this right. Mom would want us to try. Those words always worked. Every single time. If we go, Marcus said carefully, we go prepared. We record everything. We bring evidence. We don't sign anything, agree to anything, or promise anything. This is reconnaissance only. Okay, I said. Elena. He turned to face me fully. I mean it. This feels wrong. Every instinct I have is telling me they're planning something. Then we'll be ready for it. I spent the next day preparing. Marcus helped me assemble a folder. Copies of Mom's will. The recording from her house. Affidavits from her doctor, her nurse, her best friend. Everything proving Amber was lying about her involvement in Mom's final months. We also prepared a script. Responses to different scenarios. What to say if they asked for money. What to say if they brought lawyers. What to say if they tried to manipulate me emotionally. By the time we pulled into the steakhouse parking lot, I'd practiced my responses so many times they felt automatic. The restaurant was exactly what I expected. Dark wood. Leather booths. The kind of place where even the bread basket costs more than a regular dinner elsewhere. But what I didn't expect were the two men sitting at the bar. Suits. Expensive ones. They weren't drinking. Weren't talking. Just sitting there, watching the entrance like hawks. Lawyers, Marcus murmured beside me. They brought lawyers. To a family dinner? Told you it was a trap. My stomach tightened, but we were already here. Already walking toward the hostess stand. Amber waved from a corner booth. Her smile was bright, perfect, practiced. Like she'd rehearsed it in a mirror. You came. She pulled me into a hug that felt more like a cage. I'm so glad. Damien stood as we approached. Adjusted his Rolex. Again. The metal caught the dim lighting like a beacon. Thanks for giving us another chance, he said. His voice was smooth. Too smooth. We slid into the booth. Marcus's hand found mine under the table. Squeezed once. Steady. The appetizers arrived within 2 minutes. Too fast. They'd been pre-ordered. Calamari. Shrimp cocktail. Things nobody had asked for. We really are sorry about how things went before, Damien said. He'd cut his steak into precise little pieces, but hadn't touched any of it. Emotions were running high. We weren't thinking clearly. We've been talking, Amber added, reaching across the table for my hand. About compromise. About what's fair for everyone. About finding a solution that works. Here it comes, I thought. Damien pulled papers from inside his jacket. Set them beside my water glass. We had our attorneys draw something up. Just a simple agreement. Very straightforward. I looked down at the documents. The words swam. Quitclaim deed. Trust formation paperwork. Legal terminology designed to confuse. But 3 words stood out crystal clear. Damien Lawson, trustee. It's very simple, Damien continued. You. Transfer the house into a family trust. Everyone benefits. Everyone gets their fair share. No more fighting. No more lawyers. Just family taking care of family. Just sign here, Amber whispered. Her grip on my hand was tight. Too tight. Make this right, Elena. For all of us. For Mom. Marcus's movement was deliberate. Calm. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. Set it on the table. Screen up. Red recording dot clearly visible. No, he said quietly. The temperature in the booth dropped 20 degrees. Damien's face went white. What is that? Insurance, Marcus said. He gestured subtly toward the bar, where the 2 lawyers were already gathering their things. Moving toward the exit. We have enough evidence of coercion and attempted fraud to bury you both. And oh look, there are security cameras throughout this restaurant. Smile for posterity, gentlemen. The lawyers were practically running now. One of them threw cash on the bar without waiting for change. You recorded us? Amber's voice cracked. Not with tears this time. With pure rage. You came to a family dinner and recorded us? Just like you invited us to a family dinner and brought lawyers to ambush us, I said. My voice was steady. Calm. All those hours of practice paying off. Tell me, Amber, what exactly were you planning to do with these documents once I signed them? This is outrageous, Damien sputtered. He lunged for the papers, but Marcus was faster. Slid them out of reach and into his own bag. We'll be keeping these, Marcus said. Evidence. People at nearby tables were watching now. Phones coming out. Someone was definitely recording. This isn't over, Amber hissed. All pretense gone. The mask completely shattered. You think you're so smart? You think you've won? This isn't over, Elena. Damien grabbed my arm as I stood. His fingers dug in hard enough to leave marks. You can't just. Marcus was between us before I could blink. His body a wall. Solid and immovable. Don't touch my wife. The entire restaurant had gone quiet. Even the kitchen sound stopped. I looked down at Amber. My baby sister. The 4-year-old with the fever. The teenager who needed lunch money. The adult woman who'd spent 26 years taking everything I had to give and demanding more. You want to know when I stopped being your sister? I asked. My voice was soft but carried through the silent restaurant. The moment you stood in Mom's house planning renovations while she was dying upstairs. The moment you chose money over love. The moment you decided manipulation was easier than gratitude. I pulled my arm free from where Damien's hand had been. We're done here. Marcus and I walked out together. Behind us, Amber's voice rose, shrill and desperate. Damien was making excuses to the manager. Other diners were definitely posting this on social media. The cool night air hit my face like salvation. You okay? Marcus asked. I nodded. Then checked my phone. The recording app had captured everything. Every word. Every threat. Every manipulation attempt. But before we reached the car, I heard running footsteps. Fast. Angry. Amber had followed us into the parking lot. This isn't over, she screamed. Mascara streaked down her face. That perfect mask finally completely destroyed. You hear me? This isn't over. You're going to pay for this. You're right, I said, turning to face her. Marcus stood beside me, ready. It's not over, but it will be. Soon. We drove home in silence. The recording sat safely backed up to 3 different cloud services. The quitclaim deed with its manipulative clauses was in our possession. And somewhere behind us, Amber was realizing she'd lost. But she wasn't done fighting yet. And neither was I. The state bar complaint form sat on my kitchen table like a loaded weapon. I'd filled out medical forms for 12 years as a veterinarian. But this was different. Each line I typed felt like a small act of justice. Marcus leaned over my shoulder, reading as I entered the final details. You're absolutely sure about the names? Jason Mitchell and Rebecca Hartwell. I didn't need to check my notes. Those 2 lawyers sitting at the steakhouse bar were burned into my memory. Licensed in this state for 8 and 12 years respectively. Both should know better than to participate in documented coercion. The cursor hovered over the submit button. What Mom wanted doesn't matter anymore, Marcus said quietly. He knew what I was thinking. Mom always preferred peace. Always smoothed over problems. Always pretended everything was fine even when it was burning down around her. What matters is what's right. I clicked submit. Case number 2025, ETH, 4471 appeared on the confirmation screen. I screenshot it. Added it to the folder on my desktop labeled evidence. The folder was getting thick. Dangerously thick. My phone rang. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again 30 seconds later. Same number. Answer it, Marcus said. We're recording everything now anyway. I tapped speaker. The recording app already running. This is Elena. Dr. Martinez. The voice was deep, authoritative, old money trying to sound reasonable. This is Richard Lawson. Damien's father. I said nothing. I'm calling about this unfortunate situation between my son and your sister. I understand there's been some tension regarding family property. Tension, I repeated. Is that what we're calling attempted fraud now? A pause. I've been made aware of a recording. One that was obtained illegally and is being used to threaten my son. Marcus shook his head sharply. Warning me. The recording was made in a one-party consent state, Mr. Lawson. I checked before I went to that steakhouse. Everything on it is completely legal and admissible in court. Nevertheless, his voice went harder. If that recording is shared publicly, or if you continue this harassment campaign against my son, we will have no choice but to pursue defamation charges. Damien is prepared to take whatever legal action necessary to protect his reputation. The laugh escaped before I could stop it. Sharp. Bitter. His reputation? The one where he owes $53,000 to offshore casinos? The reputation where he tried to defraud a grieving woman out of her inheritance? That reputation. Silence on the other end. I would encourage you to speak with your attorney, Dr. Martinez. Legal battles are expensive, protracted, time-consuming. I have considerable resources at my disposal. Do you? The line went dead. I stared at my phone. My hands were steady, but something cold had settled in my chest. He's bluffing, Marcus said immediately. That was a textbook intimidation tactic. Maybe. I added the call to my timeline. Time-stamped. Documented. Backed up. My laptop chimed. Email notification. Subject line, thinking of you. From someone named Jennifer Walsh. I didn't know any Jennifer Walsh. I opened it anyway. Hi Elena, I saw Amber's post about missing her sister and just wanted to reach out. I can't imagine how hard it must be to lose your mother and then have family conflict on top of grief. Amber showed me photos of you two together. She seems like such a loving person. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive whatever misunderstanding has come between you. Family is so important. Blessings, Jennifer. Marcus was already pulling up her Instagram account. 147 comments on Amber's latest post, he said. The one with the childhood photos. I knew which photos he meant. Me helping Amber learn to ride a bike. Christmas morning when she was 8 and I was 20. Me in my college sweatshirt. Amber in matching pajamas I'd bought with my grocery store paycheck. The caption made me sick. Missing my sister who abandoned me. Who got everything and left me with nothing but memories. Mom loved us both. But Elena only loves herself now. 8,000 likes. Thousands of comments calling me selfish, greedy, a disgrace. We don't respond publicly, I said. My voice sounded far away. Not yet. Agreed. But I'm sending screenshots to our lawyer. And to your cousin Michael. He's been asking for updates. The afternoon blurred. Marcus's friend Marcus, a digital forensics expert, came by to image my entire hard drive. Preserve everything, he said, his equipment humming on my kitchen table. Every text, every email, every social media interaction. If this goes to court, you want a clean chain of custody. You want proof that nothing was fabricated or altered. My phone buzzed. Aunt Patricia. I didn't answer. The voicemail appeared 30 seconds later. Elena, I just want to understand. Patricia's voice was thick, like she'd been crying. Amber showed me messages where you threatened to ruin her wedding. Where you said terrible things about Damien. She's devastated. I know you're grieving, but this isn't like you. Please call me. Let's talk before this gets any worse. I saved the voicemail. Added it to the evidence folder. She's lying about the messages, I told Marcus. I never threatened anything. I know. He was typing furiously now, cross-referencing dates and times. Which means Amber either fabricated them or took real messages completely out of context. Either way, it's more evidence of her pattern of deception. That evening, I drafted emails to family members. Not defensive. Not angry. Just facts. Dates of Mom's hospice care. Documentation of who was present. Copies of the will, properly redacted. The truth, laid out simply and clearly for anyone willing to look. Don't send them yet, Marcus advised. Our lawyer said to wait. Let Amber keep digging. Let her keep lying. Let her build her case higher so when it collapses, everyone sees. My phone rang again. This time from the veterinary practice. Elena, we need to discuss something. Dr. Sanders' voice was careful. Professional. We received a complaint through the state veterinary board. Anonymous. Claiming you've been distracted at work. That you made a medication error that endangered a patient. My stomach dropped. That's not true. I know. His voice softened. I personally checked every chart. All your documentation is perfect. Every medication is accounted for and correct. But the board has to investigate. It's procedure. How long? 2 to 3 weeks. It won't impact your work here. We all know it's baseless. But I needed to inform you. After he hung up, I sat very still. They went after my practice. My profession. The one thing I'd built that had nothing to do with family drama or inheritance or Mom's house. Marcus found me 20 minutes later, still staring at nothing. They're getting desperate, he said. I nodded. That's good. Desperate people make mistakes. And Elena. He waited until I looked at him. We're documenting every single one. When this is over, when we're standing in court with 18 months of evidence showing their pattern of harassment, coercion, and defamation, they're going to regret ever starting this war. The engagement party invitation was still on my refrigerator. Country club. Black tie optional. I looked at it for a long time. We're going, I said. Marcus raised an eyebrow. To Amber's engagement party? To Amber's engagement party. With evidence. With recordings. With the truth. A slow smile spread across his face. Let's make sure it's an event they'll never forget. The country club parking lot was full of cars that cost more than my annual salary. Mercedes. BMWs. A Tesla that probably cost more than my entire education. Marcus pulled into a spot near the entrance. Through the tall windows, I could see the glow of crystal chandeliers. The shimmer of expensive dresses. The life Amber had always wanted and was willing to destroy me to get. "You sure about this?" Marcus asked. I checked my phone. The recording was queued up and ready. The backup phone in my purse fully charged. Everything we needed to expose the truth. "I'm sure." We walked toward the entrance together. My hands were steady. That surprised me. I expected them to shake. A bridesmaid blocked the door before we got there. Tall, blonde, wearing a dress that cost more than my monthly car payment. Her smile was pure ice. "You're not welcome here," she said. "I'm here to show everyone the truth," I replied calmly. Her eyes narrowed. "Phone out." Texting Preston within seconds. A security guard appeared. Navy uniform. Radio on his belt. He looked young and uncomfortable. "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." Then the country club manager arrived. Silver-haired. Expensive suit. Authority radiating off him like cologne. "This is a private event. If you don't leave immediately, we'll call the police for trespassing." Marcus stepped forward with that calm accountant expression of his. "We're here as paying guests. We'd like to purchase drinks at the bar. That makes us customers, not trespassers." The manager blinked. I watched him calculate the legal implications. Marcus was right. The country club bar was technically open to anyone willing to pay. "2 martinis," Marcus said to the security guard. "If you don't mind." The manager's jaw tightened, but he nodded. We'd bought ourselves time. Not much, but enough. Inside, the ballroom was everything Amber dreamed of. White roses everywhere. String quartet in the corner. Tables covered in cream linens with gold accents. Guests who summered in the Hamptons and wintered in Aspen. Damien's father stood near the bar, holding court. I recognized him from photos. Richard Lawson. The man who'd threatened me on the phone. We moved along the wall toward the sound system. Nobody noticed us yet. Everyone focused on the small stage where Damien was adjusting a microphone. "Can I have everyone's attention?" Damien's voice boomed through the speakers. The quartet stopped. Conversations died. All eyes on him. Amber appeared at his side, glowing in a white cocktail dress, playing her role perfectly. "I want to thank you all for being here tonight," Damien continued. "Amber and I are so grateful for your support as we begin this journey together." I moved closer to the main sound system. Marcus blocked me from view as I connected the AUX cable. "True love," Damien's voice went syrupy, "means overcoming obstacles. Standing together against those who would tear you apart. Even family members who let jealousy poison their hearts." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Aunt Patricia was nodding, dabbing her eyes. "But we've risen above that negativity," Damien continued. "Chosen love over bitterness. Forgiveness over resentment." I pressed play. The audio filled the ballroom. Crystal clear. Unmistakable. Damien's voice from the steakhouse. "Just sign the quitclaim deed, Elena. We can have this done in 5 minutes." Amber's urgent whisper. "Just sign it. Make this right." Papers rustling. My voice calm and measured. "You brought lawyers to ambush me?" Damien's recorded response. "We're offering you a fair deal. Just need your signature to make it legal." I watched the color drain from Damien's face. Amber's mouth opened, but no sound came out. The recording continued. The lawyers' voices. The coercion. The manipulation. Every lie exposed for 200 guests to hear. "Stop that!" Amber screamed. Her voice raw, nothing soft left. "Stop it right now." But I didn't stop. I let the entire recording play. 2 minutes that felt like 2 hours. When it ended, the silence was absolute. Richard Lawson moved first. Stormed toward the stage, his face purple with rage. "You lied to us," he roared at his son. "Dad, I can explain. You told me Elena was being unreasonable. You said she was keeping your inheritance." Richard's voice echoed off the walls. "You're cut off. Do you hear me? Cut off. And you owe me $100,000 for the deposits I've paid." Guests were pulling out phones. Recording. Posting. The social media machine Amber had used against me was now turning on her. I saw bridesmaids backing away. Saw Damien's relatives shaking their heads. Saw Aunt Patricia's face crumple as realization hit. "That recording is illegal." Amber shrieked. "She can't use it. One-party consent state," Marcus said quietly, but loud enough for nearby guests to hear. "Perfectly legal." I unplugged the phone. looked directly at Amber. Really looked at her. The mask was gone. Her face twisted with rage and desperation. This was who she'd always been underneath the tears. The truth always comes out, I said. Always. Then I took Marcus's hand and walked toward the exit. Behind us, Amber's scream of rage. Chaos as guests rushed for doors. Richard Lawson still shouting about money and lies. We stepped out into cool evening air. The parking lot looked the same, but everything had changed. Marcus opened the car door for me. How do you feel? I slid into the passenger seat. Let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Free. As we pulled out of the parking lot, my phone exploded with notifications. The engagement party recording was already on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Hashtag engagement party exposed was trending. People who'd called me greedy were now apologizing. Family members who'd ghosted me were texting asking for my side of the story. The truth, it turned out, traveled just as fast as lies. Sometimes faster. The sold sign went up on a Tuesday morning. Red letters on white plastic, staked into the front lawn like a flag. Victory or surrender. I still wasn't sure which. I stood in Mom's empty living room where she used to keep her reading chair by the window. Hardwood floors echoed under my footsteps. Every sound bounced off bare walls. Sunlight streamed through windows that needed washing, catching dust motes in golden beams. Marcus walked past carrying the last box. Mom's photo albums, wrapped carefully in bubble wrap. Her face smiled from the top frame, my college graduation. She'd looked so tired but so proud. That's everything, Marcus said, setting the box by the door. Ready? I nodded. Couldn't quite speak yet. My phone buzzed. Amber's name flashing. Marcus watched me. You going to listen? I tapped speaker. Put it on speaker because I had nothing left to hide. Amber's voice filled the empty room. Hysterical. Broken. Elena, you have to fix this. Damien's family completely cut him off. The wedding venue is gone. Everyone knows what we did. Everyone. You destroyed my life. You destroyed everything. We're still sisters. You can't just abandon me. Mom would be so disappointed in you. Call me back. Please. The message ended. Silence returned. Same manipulation, I said quietly. Different desperation. Marcus reached for my hand. You calling her back? I looked at my phone. At Amber's name in my call history. At the string of missed calls and messages stretching back 8 weeks. I pressed delete. Watched the voicemail disappear. No, I said. The baby sister I raised became a stranger years ago. I just didn't want to see it. Marcus pulled me close. I rested my head on his shoulder and let myself feel it. Not guilt. Just grief. Real grief. For the sister I thought I had. The one who never actually existed. The new practice called yesterday, I told him. Everything's confirmed. I start in 2 weeks. And my firm approved remote work, Marcus added. We're really doing this. 500 miles away. Different state. New house with mountain views instead of painful memories. Therapy starts next month, I said. Dr. Morrison specializes in family trauma. Margaret Wilson, Mom's best friend, had hosted a farewell dinner last week. She'd cried when she hugged me goodbye. Your mother would be so proud, she'd whispered. She gave you that house as protection. You finally understand. 3 cousins apologized. Said they believed Amber's lies at first, but the engagement party recording changed everything. We exchanged phone numbers, promised to stay in touch. Maybe chosen family works better than blood family anyway. The moving truck idled in the driveway. Marcus checked his watch. We should go. Long drive ahead. I took one last look around. This room where Mom taught me to braid hair. That corner where Amber and I built pillow forts. The kitchen where I made dinner while Mom worked double shifts. Good memories. Bad memories. All mine to carry or leave behind. My phone buzzed again. Amber's number. I didn't hesitate. Block contact. Delete thread. Gone. Marcus held the door open. Sunlight spilled across the threshold. I stepped outside. Locked the door. Dropped the key in the realtor's lockbox. We drove toward our future. Windows down. Radio playing something hopeful. Marcus's hand warm in mine. That night in our new house, boxes still half unpacked, I pulled out my journal. Wrote by lamplight while Marcus assembled furniture in the next room. Love isn't measured in dollars or sacrifices. Mom knew that. She gave me the house not as an inheritance, but as a test. She wanted me to learn what I was worth. To understand that protecting yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. Some people called me greedy. I call it choosing myself for the first time in 42 years. True love, real family love, doesn't require you to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. It doesn't demand endless sacrifice. It doesn't weaponize guilt. Amber taught me what family shouldn't be. Marcus showed me what it could be. Mom's final gift gave me the chance to choose. I closed the journal, walked to the window. Mountains rose in the distance, purple against the darkening sky. No painful memories here, just possibility. Marcus appeared beside me, wrapped his arms around my waist. Happy, I leaned back against him, felt the weight of decades of guilt finally lifting. Getting there, I said. My phone chimed. Not Amber. Michael, my cousin. Michael, saw your new practice's website. Looks amazing. Proud of you. Also, you should know, Amber and Damien broke up. Wedding officially canceled. She's moving back in with Aunt Patricia. Thought you'd want to know. I read the message twice. Felt nothing. No satisfaction. No vindication. Just nothing. Elena, thanks for telling me. I hope she finds whatever she's looking for. And I meant it. Not because I forgave her. Not because I wanted reconciliation. But because holding on to anger was like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I put the phone down. Looked at the mountains again. You know what I learned? I said to Marcus. What's that? That no is a complete sentence. That boundaries aren't walls. They're bridges to healthier relationships. That the people who get angry when you establish limits were benefiting from you having none. Marcus kissed the top of my head. Your mom would be proud. Yeah, I whispered. I think she would. 3 months later, my new clinic was thriving. Patients loved the mountain town atmosphere. My partners respected my boundaries. Nobody knew about the inheritance drama unless I chose to tell them. I was finally just Elena. Not Elena the caretaker. Not Elena who always gives in. Just Elena. Dr. Morrison, my therapist, helped me understand something important. I hadn't been kind to Amber all those years. I'd been enabling her, teaching her that tantrums and tears would always work, that she never had to face consequences or grow up. The kindest thing you did, Dr. Morrison told me, was finally saying no. You gave her the opportunity to learn what every adult needs to learn, that actions have consequences. That manipulation has limits. That love without accountability isn't love at all. 6 months after the engagement party, I received a letter. Not from Amber. From Richard Lawson. Dr. Martinez, I owe you an apology. When my son told me his version of events, I believed him. I threatened you. I was wrong. After the engagement party, I hired an investigator. Everything you said was true. Everything my son told me was a lie. He's cost me $100,000, damaged my reputation, and destroyed several business relationships that I've cut him off financially. Permanently. Perhaps I should have done it years ago. You showed remarkable strength in protecting yourself. I respect that. I wish you well. Sincerely, Richard Lawson. I read it twice, then filed it away in the evidence folder I still kept. Just in case. But I never heard from Amber again. Sometimes late at night, I wondered about her. Wondered if she ever understood what she'd lost. Wondered if she told herself I was the villain in her story. Probably. People rarely see themselves as the antagonist. But I didn't wonder for long. Didn't lose sleep over it. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't responsible for Amber's happiness, Amber's choices, or Amber's consequences. I was only responsible for me. And that, it turned out, was the most liberating lesson of all. 1 year after Mom's death, I visited her grave. Brought flowers. Sat on the grass beside her headstone. I get it now, I told her. Why you left me the house. Why you made the will so clear. You weren't being unfair to Amber. You were being fair to me. Finally, the wind moved through the trees. Birds called overhead. I'm okay, Mom. Better than okay. I'm free. Thank you for giving me permission to choose myself. It only took 42 years, but I finally learned. I stood, brushed grass off my jeans, looked at her name carved in granite. Sarah Martinez, beloved mother and friend. I love you, I whispered. And I'm sorry it took me so long to love myself too. As I walked back to my car, my phone rang. Sarah, my new business partner. Elena, we just got approved for that expansion grant. We're opening the second location next year. I smiled, started the engine, drove toward my new life in the mountains, where I built healthy relationships with people who respected boundaries, where I practiced veterinary medicine without fear of false complaints, where I slept soundly knowing I'd finally learned the most important lesson. That choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. And survival, I learned, is the first step toward actually living. True family doesn't demand you sacrifice your well-being for their wants. Real love doesn't weaponize guilt or manipulate through tears. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do, for yourself and others, is to finally say no. Boundaries aren't walls. They're foundations. And you can't build a healthy life on a foundation of endless sacrifice. The people who truly love you will respect your limits. Those who don't, they were never loving you, they were using you. And that's okay, because once you understand the difference, you can finally start choosing relationships that give as much as they take. You can finally start choosing yourself. And there's nothing selfish about that.